Hello Movement Snackers, are you ready for your 12 noon installation of proper good movement? After Bex's musical start this morning, it would seem offensive maybe to not join in with the theme. So there's something coming for you lot as well. I'm not sure whether your ears will want it, but they're going to get it. So we are on the 10th of June. This is your 12 noon movement snack. And here I am, ready and waiting as usual, a few minutes before the clock strikes 12, to welcome you into the Movement Mansion house and give us some messages. Let's say hi to a few people. So who's lurking in the background? I can see 9 people are tuned in at the moment, but nobody's quite said hi yet. So let's have a few messages from you lot and see how you've been doing this morning. Have you recovered from that earworm that Bex put into your ears this morning? That Sound of Music tune. A few of you coming in now. Hello, Bex is in. Carol, Joy, George. They're all ready and waiting. Red Rita's here to join us as well. Literally just running. Well, you might have done your little bit of a warm-up then already. Circ boost on slowdown for you, Red Rita, if you've been charging around. It all adds up though, doesn't it? It's all movement minutes bagged. And that's what our ultimate aim is just to get you a bit more moving, a bit more often, if that makes sense. Move more often, breaking up those sedentary periods of time with just a small injection of movement. One of the things that we've been doing, one of the crowbar opportunities from any of our sessions, and it all adds up. Right, time check. I've got one of the girls' broken up iPads, look. Dave's really struggling to get the tune out of his head this morning. I must say I had just a little lay in the bath earlier. La 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 la. Giving it a bit of a sing-song to myself. It's rude not to, really, isn't it? So come on, we love it when you all join in. I think everybody's got that in their head today, Bex. It's probably going to be lingering for a few more days as well. If anybody's got an extra verse for us, that would be great to hear. Maybe Dave could sing 1 or 2 verses back to you later. Right, we're 1 minute to. So today we've got some flamingo swing or flamingo stepping actions for you. We've got some stomach strengthening to do as well as a movement that I've called Pick It Up, Pack It In, Let Me Begin. Just a little something to keep on bugging you in your head. Okay, we've got to pick it up, pack it in, let me begin. Right, so how are we doing for time? We're almost there. Just those last few seconds then to say hi to a few of you. Have we got the Port Talbot posse in? I think we've got a new collective being built out of the Gillian with a G and a Gillian with a G and a J, and also Mrs. P. So good afternoon, everybody. Sandra's in as well. Right, we're there. Penny's in. Hello, Penny. Bob, Buffering Bob is back. And Sheila, the actual original collective is in, and Margaret, you're in too. Right, swipe your comments if you want to see the full screen. Here we go then. 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon. My name's Kelsey Leverton from Later Life Training and bringing it to you from miserable Leicestershire. We've got quite a few things in store for you today to get stuck into and to perhaps crowbar in a bit later. Have a look at this first. Circulation boosting. Start. Whilst I just get myself off my knees, you start your circulation boosting. Take up some support if you need it, if you are in standing. If you're in seated, the most optimum position to move from, we're hip walking forwards. Posture checking, everybody just having a run through of your posture checkpoints. feet, knees, hips, standing tall or sitting tall. Our leg marches, holding on to whatever support you have close to you if you need it. If you're all right to bring the arms straight in, if you feel steady and confident in standing, bring both arms and legs in together straight the way. If you are needing to hold on though, get the arms swinging and then maybe just take a steady turnaround. I'm just going to take a turnaround here so that I'm not turning you back to you. You've got me best side at all times. So swinging from the shoulders there. In seated. Everything feeling strong around the centre area of your body as you move your arms and legs around it. Bex talks a lot about supporting parts and moving parts. And this gives you a prime example of how your arms and legs move around your supporting part, and we're benefiting posture in having some concentration around your middle area. Just carry on with that, just a few more seconds, people. So I'll just arrange for the first movement that we're going to do. So we're going to have a go at pick it up, pack it in first. Here are your standing prompts. Feet hip distance apart. We're going to go down into a knee bend. When you hit that knee bend, focus on sitting your bottom back. Knees, try not to knock the knees together. I've said that before. A steady bend down, keeping the weight just into the heels. You should feel like you can wiggle your toes around at the front. Have a few more practices at that, people. Here's your seated prompt here. We've either got a bum squeeze, so lifting, clenching both of your buttocks together and relaxing back down. That, if feels right for you, can be a jockey lift. Okay? So just into a jockey lift. Have a few practices at that in seated. Those of you in standing, are you still going? If you are, just take a pause. Let's have a look at this. So this time we're going to try to bend down into the knees, lots of control here, and then reach down towards the ground. So there's your pick it up, and your pack it in can be a forwards reach around shoulder height or a higher reach if that feels all right for you. So here's your pick it up, and there's your pack it in. Do that once or do the low and the high, it's entirely up to you. After you've done a few, change sides if you're needing some support as you go through that movement. And if you're working with both arms working, both legs should be working, make sure that you just try and get a little bit of even load through the legs. I know with my dodgy knee injury I have a tendency to load onto my left, so my right leg gets a bit of a let off sometimes. Just notice how that feels for you from right side, left side. Here we go with the seated version. Tucking the feet back if that feels okay for you. We've got a lift and a bum squeeze supported with your arm, just keeping the back nice and long as well. Whatever the nice bit means, just keep it long. Changing sides. So we've got to reach down. Now I can feel my thighs firing up there as well as the muscles in my backside. So weight forwards with the chest over the thighs and then a little bit of a bend through. You're supporting your back a little bit there as well. If that feels all right for your posture, just have a go at reaching down with both hands, but begin small. Make sure that you feel happy with that reach before you try and reach perhaps any lower. Just make sure that your feet are firm and planted as you go through that lower reach, especially with both hands. Want you to feel glued to the chair still, but some activity working through the muscles of your backside. We can go low, middle, and then high with an extra bum squeeze in that middle and high. So low, middle with a bum squeeze, high with another bum squeeze. Keep going. Now, should feel that working through your legs, through your bum muscles. When you drive back up into standing, have a go at giving those an extra clench on the way up. So you're really pushing through the legs, firing up the muscles, and then giving the bum muscles just an extra clench, like that as you drive into standing. Have a rest. I need a little drink as well. Okay. Now, let's have a go at our abdominal pull-ins. If you want to go back into the full back rest, just to give your posture muscles a little bit of a rest, then have a go at that. If you're staying in standing, if you want to take up a position where you're just leaning against the wall or the work surface, as long as it's not going to move, we're all right. You can rest there. Now, wherever you are, just put your hand over the belly button. Have a think about pulling the belly button in. So you should feel a little bit of a gap create between your hand and your tummy. And then just ease it off. Now, have another go at that. So, relax the shoulders, relax everything else. No other muscles should be clenching or tensing. It's just the belly button pulling towards your spine. Hold it for a few seconds, but carry on breathing. Take care not to just pull in everything and stop breathing. You might feel a bit giddy afterwards and turn a funny colour. That's not one of the aims of this game. It's just to tighten everything up here. The muscles that we're working wrap around. So it's, if you think in essence of a corset being tightened and everything being pulled in and release. Try a few more of those. And these movements, these type contractions, can be really helpful in supporting your back as you're doing any lifting of loads, so bending down, lifting up and things like that. Also, if you've got any back troubles, then we know that if we get some strength into the back, improve posture and so on, then that can help us manage any back troubles that we've got. Are you done? Are you doing one more? Go on, do one more for good luck. All right, when you've released from that contraction of movement, we're going to move on to our final movement, which is the flamingo swing. Now, this in a seated version looks something like this to begin with. We've got a bit of progression for seated and standing. So our seated movement, sitting movement, whatever you want to call it, sitting up tall, out of your hip bones, lengthen through your spine, just so that we've got all of these postural muscles switched on. We're going to first of all start off with a lift of the leg and place it down, changing sides. Now, just as we do this, try not to lift the knees too high that it throws your posture off. We don't want you to look like a seesaw when you're doing this. So lengthen up, fix the posture best you can, lifting and lowering. Do a few of those. In standing then, we'll come back to the seated version in a moment. In standing, take up some support that feels good for you. And we'll start off by taking the weight onto the standing leg. So this is the leg that's nearest to whatever you're holding on to. And I've just got my toes pointed behind. We've got a lift to the front, no higher than hip, but it can be lower if that feels better for you. And a lift to the back, like so. Now, if it helps for you to touch down and brush through before you lift to the back, then that can just give you an extra bit of balance. Take a steady paced movement. Just going to come forwards a little bit so you can see my heel at the back. You can see I'm not leaning forwards, I'm keeping my knee level with my standing leg. Now the wall's in the way, so I'm having to just move my leg out to the side a little bit to cater for space, just so that you can see that back leg. Have a few goes, take a turn around and have another go on the other side. Remember, set yourself up first, get the weight onto this standing leg and really pull up through that standing hip so you're not sitting into it like a banana hip. Seated, we've got a lift and place down and a lift and place down. If we want to, you can bring some arms in to shoulder level, like so. Now this might feel a little bit more tough on your balance and posture in the chair. A low arm lift, no higher than shoulder. Much higher will be quite demanding, perhaps a bit more on your posture and certainly on the shoulders. See how you feel though, do a few, do 1 or 2 of each. Take a pause. It glitched then. I froze. When the camera freezes, I freeze, and then I get back to you where we left off from. Okay, we're going to progress this a little bit, so I might just need a bit of extra space here. All right, I'm going to start here, so I'm slightly to the edge of the camera, but what I'm going to do is start with my foot out the back, lift to the front, lift, and step through. Now I've got the wall in front of me now. It's not too much of a reach, but I've also got the wall by the side of me. Lift to the front, lift to the back, lift to the front, and step through. Now I'm face up against the wall. So if you've got a longer area to work with, then that will of course allow you to get a few more in. Now these can be smaller than what I've just shown you on the first option, or you can make them a much bigger range of movement according to what feels right for you. Master the first bit first, then when we've got a mastery of that, to layer on a bit of a progression, it makes sense to do it like that. Okay, so whatever you're doing, just do a couple more. And there we have it. So, hang on, a little bit, wet my whistle again. Are you ready for my little sing song? So, when we circ boost, when we strengthen, when we do some balance, I join the mission and that's what I do. And then I don't feel like poo. Hope you enjoyed that. Whew, bit embarrassed now. Right, that's all from me. Remember, keep on crowbarring. Watch back these lunch times. There are a lot that we cover, a lot of options. So a little bit of a rewatch back might just cement 1 or 2 extra points in place for you, so that you feel more happy to go on crowbarring off into the rest of your afternoon. Have a great afternoon, everybody. I apologise for the singing. It's a giggle though, isn't it? See you later. Bye.